before time. The Mark of the Longneck. Chapter 21. Escape from the Scorpion King. It was the evening. Littlefoot, Shorty, Ollie were hearing something crawling in the holes of the canyon. They were getting nervous. Suddenly, dozens and dozens of giant scorpions came out of the holes. Littlefoot, Shorty, Ollie's eyes widened in shock. Then, an extremely large scorpion came out of a large hole. "Oh no, he's the king," Littlefoot replied panically. The Scorpion King screeched loudly. Seconds later, the scorpions charged at them. "Run," Littlefoot shouted panically. Littlefoot, Shorty, Ollie ran off quickly. They were running while the scorpions were on their tails. "Keep running," Littlefoot shouted panically. A few minutes later, Ollie started to run out of breath and started to slow down. Littlefoot noticed Ollie was falling behind. Littlefoot quickly wrapped his tail around Ollie's legs and began to pull her along. Eventually, they approached a cliff. "Oh crap, it's a dead end," Shorty shouted panically. They turned around. They see the scorpions were approaching. "What are we going to do?" Ollie shouted panically. "We have to climb up," Littlefoot shouted panically. Littlefoot, Shorty, Ollie started to climb up the cliff. Minutes later, as they were climbing, they noticed the scorpions were climbing right behind them. Littlefoot swung his tail on a pile of rocks next to him, causing the rocks to fall down and landed on the scorpions, sending them down. Minutes later, Shorty made it to the top of the cliff. Seconds later, Ollie made it up as well. "Hey, where's Littlefoot?" Ollie asked panically. Littlefoot finally made it to the top. "Hey guys," Littlefoot shouted happily. "Oh, thank goodness," Ollie replied softly. Suddenly, Littlefoot's eyes widened in shock. Littlefoot gasped in pain. Ollie and Shorty looked at Littlefoot confused. "What's wrong, Littlefoot?" Ollie asked panically. Shorty looked down the cliff and saw the Scorpion King has impaled his stinger into Littlefoot's back. Shorty gasped in shock. "Got off of him," Shorty shouted angrily. Shorty swung his tail at the Scorpion King, knocking him off. Littlefoot was about to collapse. Shorty and Ollie quickly pulled up Littlefoot. "Oh, Littlefoot, are you all right?" Ollie asked panically. "Yes, I'm fine," Littlefoot muddled. "Come on, let's get of here," Shorty shouted panically. Shorty and Ollie carried Littlefoot along the path.